in December of 2020, I first go to Escalante to have Christmas vacation with my two young adult kids. And when I get there in this area, I rented a house for a year. It was an Airbnb, and I have to tell you that I'm a former photographer, and I was in an era where it was film, and my whole entire schooling at BYU is we're doing film the entire time, and I'm getting to use a 4x5 camera, which I owned with bellows. I've been using like a Mamiya. I also had a chance to use an 8x10. I mean, these are sheets of film, and we're studying the greats of Ansel Adams and Edward Weston, and the whole F-64 club. And the dean of BYU's photography department, I adored him. Like, if I could have chosen a father, I adored him. He was, and I loved, like, I had a deep passion for photography, and the aesthetic was that the whole program was about visualization and pre-visualizing everything and not editing. Like, you chose what zones you were, and this is black and white, but you chose exactly what zones you were going to place every value, and you were framing the shot, and you were not editing, you were not cropping it in the after production. And back in that day, the BFA, specifically for the photography department, they maybe accepted 10 people a year, like max. It was, but my family told me, I from a young age, knew I wanted to be a photographer, knew I wanted it. And then I really got into it my sophomore year when I lived in England, and I loved the darkroom. I continued to do that, yearbook and every single, the photography, like the darkroom was my safe space, and it's completely different than photography today. But back then it was eight men to 2 women in the program. Like, my family told me that if I studied photography, if I set that as my major, that they would never help me at all with any college tuition, that I had to do and only take whatever classes they said. Like, you had to take PE classes, but I was not allowed to take the skiing class that BYU offered. Or, they were going to prove everything. So I went to BYU, and my first declared major was psychology. And I was like, it's a liberal arts college, and you have to take so many, credits. And so I took a beginning, photography class, but once I entered the Brim Hall, it was over. I was in my place, I was with my people. I couldn't. So it wasn't, I wouldn't have been, I couldn't even apply to go into the system until after my freshman year. But my family only helped with tuition for my freshman year, which in 1991 at BYU, which is college subsidized, was $1,000 a semester. So, but they weren't going to pay for any future years for me to study, but they were going to pay